and how things was going down, things of that nature. But no, we shouldn't be afraid. We shouldn't be afraid at all. We should be doing more spiritual work to stay protected, and more spiritual work on a warrior level to fight this motherfucker. Because, this is his particular dimension that we in. You know what I'm saying? That's why he can run it the way he can run it. You know what I'm saying? Our shit come from the spirit. So he can do all the shit that he wants to do. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But we got to recognize the power in us. And the power in us is unmeasurable. So once we know our true powers and our powers, and we know we got to understand what our powers are, then we know how to handle things and how to fight this motherfucker.
Well, what are our powers?
Well,
what are our true powers? How do we tap into?
Well, let me explain something first. Elijah Muhammad used to say to us, that I know it's hard to believe that a little so-called Negro is God, but the so-called Negro is God. So we need to look at it from the aspect of, for instance, there are comets and meteor pieces and fragments that floats around in space that are light years away from us. If we was to measure that looking outward, or we was to actually look outward at it from where we are, either through a telescope or just through the naked eye, and we was to ever look at them, we would say, wow, those meteors or those comets are sure small. But in reality, there are comets and meteors that are bigger than the planet that you exist on. So what we need to do is look at our power in that way. It's like our power is unmeasurable. We've been taught to think that we have such small power, we don't have enough power. And I think it came from being dogmatized into religion for so many years. So it's like our power is unmeasurable. It's just that we haven't tapped into it. Some of us haven't tapped into our power, so we don't know our power. But once we have the confidence, then we can tap into our power and overcome anything, because our power is beyond measure. You understand where I'm coming from? So what I'm saying is, with the confidence level, it's like this. There's power in thought. There's power in word. There's power in emotion. There's so much power. Our thought process takes a lot of the energy that we project, and we project it in the way that we think. So, for instance, like the tape you was watching the tape, the psychic self-defense tape, when the man was talking about how the lady kept saying, I just can't get up. Is what she's saying? I can't get on my feet. I just can't get on my feet. I just can't get on my feet. And it was just a figure of words and a figure of speech to her. But one day, she woke up and couldn't get out of bed, and she couldn't get on her feet. Although it was only a figure of speech to her, the subconscious mind programs it to work. So there's so much power in thought. So the confidence level of our power, you must be stepped up in a big way, in a very big way. You know what I'm saying?
It said that it's easy to break a single straw.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take a bundle of straw, mm-hmm, it's harder to break. How does that relate to us, our people today, even in the conscious community? How does that saying relate to us about coming together?
Okay. Personally, how I see it, as far as us coming together, well, it depends. You have so much degrees of consciousness. So there are people that are in certain sects, I can say sects, I guess, sects of consciousness, that are not willing to move forward for us to fight. Some want to fight on this level, some want to fight on this level, some of them don't want to fight at all. Some of them just want love. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many degrees of consciousness as far as our people. It's like sometimes it's really not too many common grounds, but that we just black. That's the only common ground we got, and this white man is oppressing us. But I don't want to line myself up with certain niggas' energy. So on a conscious level, I said there are only a small group of elite brothers and sisters. I say the elite is a small group of us around the country that's functioning on this higher spiritual level, or trying to accomplish this higher spiritual level or this metaphysical level, you know what I'm saying, and know there's a spiritual warfare that's willing to fight through the spirit world, through magic, through meditation, through visualization, through thought forms. You know what I'm saying? So the unity of those people must come together, in my personal opinion. Not saying that we don't necessarily won't need to love our other brothers and sisters, but it's like in the movie The Matrix, when Neo was with Morpheus and they was walking down the street and there was a bunch of people and he saw that the girl in the red dress and he turned around. Morpheus stopped time and say, look, you know, you gotta realize something, that people are plugged into this matrix, whether they know it or not. And anybody that's plugged into this matrix is a potential enemy, no matter if they know it or not. You know what I'm saying? So that go, even our own people at times become our own enemies. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to this warfare, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to fight it on a lot of our people are not willing to fight on a spiritual level. They're willing to do everything but fight on a spiritual level. And I'm going to tell you like this. In reality, you can't beat this cracker physically. You know what I'm saying? You got to come from, we got to come from our true power and source, and that's the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? That's the spirit world. So, as far as the unity with our people, it sounds good. It's a great ideal. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, some of our people become our enemies, whether they know it or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether they know it or not. And some of them may have good intents in mind, but sometimes if people's energy don't line up with yours, they can take energy away from you. Unless you're using the people's energy like ghouls for your personal power to actually use it to end this hell dimension or whatever we in, then it would be, to me, worthless to fuck with some of these niggas.
But don't this conflict go way back? I seem to remember reading...
Hear what you just said, Prophet? You hear what you just said? It's useless to fuck with some of these niggas. It's useless. Don't even waste your time. Morris Consulate, Sharon, Gale, Bay, and all this BS. Don't waste your time. Let them rot.
Mythologies where there's always, or seems to be, a lot of conflict between gods and gods, goddesses and goddesses, gods and goddesses. Could that have something to do with the way we are today, since we are the physical manifestation of them?
Metaphysics 101, as above, so below. You know what I'm saying? Metaphysics 101, as above, so below. So the conflicts with the gods, the goddesses. Yes, it goes back to energy in the spirit realm, and it manifests and it overflows into the physical. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it's a family fight. You know what I'm saying? So it flows over into the physical realm. So yes, this does go back. That was a good question. It does go back to ancient myths and different energies as far as gods and goddesses. But we're talking about different levels. We're talking about two different levels of gods and goddesses. We have the great old ones, and then you have the demiurge or Yaldabaoth. And
that's what Juali was saying with those who were with him today were with him 2,000 years ago. Those are the great old ones, the ancient returns. And those who are against him today were against him yesterday. And then those are the demigods. All these traitors, dirty Moors as we call them, those are the demigods returned. Those are the low vibratory beings. All they care about is some finance. Sit in their Bentley with the leather seats and talk about they're conscious. You're not conscious if you got Bentley. You're not conscious. Trust me, you're not conscious. You're not even cognizant. You're just a demiurge. And then there's the higher thinking beings who know that this is way beyond some get some physical stuff, beat some ticket, discharge some debt. And that's what this is. That's not what this is. It's not about put some plates on your conveyance. That's not what Juali brought this for. Juali brought this for us to go back to the ancient mindset of our foremothers and forefathers. And our foremothers and forefathers' mindset, they weren't driving Bentleys, they were teleporting. Our ancient foremothers and forefathers' mindset, they were not debating back and forth about some frivolous subject matter. They had counsel of the gods. And if you talk BS, lightning bolt take you out of here. We ain't debating. Right? How can you tell the difference between the Moor groups? Anybody who's saying that they're a Moor group, they're a fraud. Because we're all it's one nation. Everybody has the same flag, but then those people over there are trying to tell you about some different group of Moors that's doing something for the whatever. All that is BS. We're one nation. Everybody has the same flag. Everybody has the same fez and the same turban. How is there disagreements? Because of traitors. And then don't get it twisted that you're listening to this. This metaphysician right here, he's a Moor. He's not Negro black colored because you hear him say black or whatever. This is 2005. This lecture right here is 2005. Now, 2021, he's a Moor. He knows what's up. Matter of fact, he produced almost the whole Iron Sheik 6 album. So as soon as some Moors are trying to convince you, our whatever is the whatever, don't listen to those Moors over there because they're not about nationhood. They're about cliques. You know, in Helter Skelter, posses, clans, crews, and cliques. All you bitch niggas good. That's what they're about. Posses, clans, crews, cliques, groups, associations, and all the stuff that keeps us separated when we're supposed to be unified because we're all flying the same flag. This is not rocket science. We all have the same national headwear. We all have the same national headwear. So why can't there be unity? Because there's traitors, because there's demigods, there's demiurge Moors. There's the true and faithful Moors who ride with Noble Drew Ali and everything that he brought, and then there's everybody else who's a traitor. So to tell the difference between the Moor groups or whatever, anybody that says that they're a Moor, they should be directing you to go study. They should be directing you to go study. And then they give you the source to go study from. And they're not going to give you a source to go study from where you got to go pay $500 to sit in some course with some Moors to tell you some BS. Because no one's going to teach you this info. You're going to research and you're going to find this stuff out.
The gods in the spirit realm, as far as the great old ones, which are the older gods, you know what I'm saying, fighting with the demiurge or the lower gods, is two different type of fights. Although there are fights that conflict even in the realm of the chaos beings or the great old ones, but there are also fights that transpire even with the demiurge. But we're talking about a fight between the great old ones and the lower energies who got us trapped in this bullshit that we in. You feel where I'm coming from? That's the fight we're talking about. And some of us, on a conscious level, take the energy of the great old ones, and we are the great old ones, and we stand up and fight on the side of the great old ones. While others fight on the side of the demiurge or the lower entities or Yalda Bra, who are still trapped in religion, who are still trapped in dogmatic bullshit. Those people. So we're talking about a separation of energies from those who want to uphold the energy of the demiurge, not knowing. That's what Morpheus was trying to tell Neo. Whether they know it or not, if they're not talking about this shit, they're talking about the spirit realm. And I'm not coming from a dogmatic point of view. I'm talking about that which is relevant, that which is factual. I'm talking about it from if it's not coming from the realm of the spirit to get up out of this shit, then it really don't mean nothing. It's not about, and I've said it before, it's not about building a civilization on earth again. It's not about trying to fight this white man physically. It's not about throwing up picket signs or going to 1 million more marches and shit like that. It's not about that. It's about fighting this war spiritually. And I think we had a conversation about a couple of weeks ago when the millions more thing was going on. And I was talking about how Minister Farrakhan has the power to attract the ears of people in the way and the manner he speaks. Not what he says, but the way, in the manner he speaks, his charisma, his charisma and his energy. I said to you, if Minister Farrakhan was talking some magic shit, with the power that this man has to attract, then we might be about this shit tomorrow. If he can influence the people to get into their own power instead of bowing down worshiping, instead of focusing on politics and shit like that. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody else, but I'm just talking about the power and charisma. Martin Luther King could be another one. With the power of attraction that he has. If he could attract the ears of our people and could have spoke to our people about energy, thought forms, magic, and projecting if he could have talked to our people about that, instead of our people using the slogan free at last, we'd be doing some shit on a more spiritual level. You know where I'm coming from? Or the slogan, I have a dream, we'd be doing more shit on a spiritual level as far as in the magnitude of energy on a magical level. You understand where I'm coming from? So it's important that we know that this is a war that it just seems to be that the odds are against us. Those of us that's on the spirit level, and I know a lot of brothers and sisters, especially brothers and sisters that I came up with in St. Louis, and I know a lot of them have been going through a lot of shit, and a lot of brothers and sisters want to give up. You know what I'm saying? But it's like now, it's the time now. Now it comes down, it really is really coming down to who's fucking real and who's fake. It's really coming down to, is this shit in your heart? The shit that you taught? Is this shit in your heart? Is this spiritual shit in your heart?
Right? Is this more science stuff in your heart? Is more science part of you, or is it still something outside of yourself that you're trying to be part of, or trying to attract, or something? Are you real? Or are you a faker? Are you really, really about this nationality and birthrights? Which again, Noble Drew Ali said divine first, which means spiritual. So he was talking spirit to Moors every day, all day. Drew Ali said, everything I say is spirit, so Moors better heed. Are you looking at this spiritual, or are you looking at this political? You looking at this as some rights thing? You looking at this as get out of some BS you got yourself into? Or are you looking at this as raising Hiram? Are you looking at this from the perspective of everything is spirit, so you better heed what Noble Drew Ali is saying, because everything he said is spirit? Well, he said religious. That was spiritual. Religion is not spiritual. That's why your ass is suffering right now, because concepts are warped. Everything he said is spirit. So Moors better heed. So are you looking at this Moorish nationality as a spiritual, metaphysical, call down the motherships and burn this whole stuff up? Or are you looking at this as some paperwork is going to stop this beast? Jolly said the Europeans going to look death in the face. Does that sound paperwork to you? That doesn't sound like paperwork. That sounds like high science. That sounds like, oh, didn't Noble Drew Ali said the 5-point star on the flag? Isn't the 5-point star a pentagram and stuff like that? People put that in a circle and do stuff with it. How come all these different stars out here, and that's the star that he brought? And then there's pictures of him. There's pictures of him with the Moroccan flag looking like Baphomet head. You think he was joking around with this? Think he was playing games? If the 5-point star upside down is Baphomet, and then Baphomet came from the Knights Templar, and then the Knights Templar were taught by the Moors, what do you think's going on here? You think that 5-point green star is just Venus only? Venus could be reversed. If Venus is reversed, people are in trouble. This is divine and national. It's not just national only. This is divine and national. Didn't Obujali talk about the Elohims and all that? What do you think he's talking about Elohims for? For you not to use them?
Metaphysical shit. Is this shit really in your heart? And that's what it's coming down to. That's why we got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting, but we got to fight on the spirit realm. I must stress that. I've stressed that. I got to stress it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So.
You were saying that there was a small elite group of conscious people that's on the side or fighting on the side of the Great Mother. What are real chances, to win this war? If you look at all the different religions of the world, you have millions of people that's in these religious groups. So does quantity matter versus quality?
No. But we want to look at quantity. We have uncountable spirits on our side. You know what I'm saying? Uncountable. You know what I'm saying? Spirits on our side, because all this shit is an illusion. You know what I'm saying? So we have uncountable spirits on our side versus what they doing physically. It really don't matter. Like, I heard about a month and a half ago, George Bush comes on TV and say, hey, look, we're going to downsize the military. And a bell rang in my head like, oh, wait a minute. That don't make sense. If you are a country and you are at war, it seems to me that you will be doing more recruiting to fight a war than trying to downsize it. So I understood why, as I did a little research, that now, and from what I got from the spirits, is that now the United States Army, or the military of the United States, is now the United Nations, which is China, Japan, and whoever else. That military is now the United States military, the same military. That's why when the Hurricane Katrina went down, you saw the Japanese and all those motherfuckers coming over here to help. You know what I'm saying? So that's one part of it, on the downside of the military. The other part is they have new technology, well, actually it's been out since the early 90s, but they're getting ready to put on the market new technology, and I think some of it's probably already out. They have what they call UAVs, or they call drones, which are these flying, these particular little planes that are made out of this special type of material that becomes invisible.
So this is why we're saying you're not beating this beast in some shoot 'em up, whatever. Because all they got to do is turn on the sound weapon and you're done for. All you got to do is flick the switch on the weapons that they got. While you're talking about putting bullets in stuff one by one or whatever, these people are shooting you with sound. So when we're talking about for example, saying fighting on the spiritual realm, right? The Moors near Texas just had their session where people could come there and learn about their nationality and their birthrights and whatever, right? So they go to the thing, they set up they set up all the chairs and all that stuff or whatever, they get ready. At the end of the thing, there's 4 of them in the picture, right? Only 4 people showed up to this thing, right? They went out, put flyers, they put the word out, had the stuff online, this is the day, come on down if you want to learn. 4 people showed up, right? Our mindset is that, yes, 4 people in the physical showed up, but there were many spirits in those chairs that were empty, that we thought were empty. So when we look at things from the spirit perspective, that's fighting from the spiritual realm. It's not, light 50 candles and then make a pentagram out of candles and then that's how you bring the spirits. They're already there. All they need to do is be inspired to do what they're supposed to do from the spirit realm. Right? Why was the energy alive in the room? Because the spirits were there. The ancestors were there. That's why Drew Ali was confident in saying there's only going to be a handful saved with fingers left over. That's why Drew Ali confidently said, I'm going to the soul plane and I'm going to fight from the soul plane. So we can't get caught up and lost in we're seeing things happening in the physical and then we think, oh my gosh, it's all over because John got strangled by the police, and then that's what they want you to do. That's why they're doing that. But if you not even pay attention to that, because you already know that death is no enemy of man, especially if somebody else took the life. If that individual didn't take their own life and they didn't die from natural causes and somebody took them out, I wouldn't be too worried. Because you're not worried with the people who just die naturally. So why are you worried about these people who police kill or whatever? Death is no enemy of man. And guarantee you, all these highwaymen, whoever, that murdered people, choked people out, shot people while they're running away and all that, lynched people, guarantee you, they don't sleep good. Guarantee you, they're haunted. Guarantee you they're haunted. Same people that they murdered are in their dreams, chasing them around in their dreams. They can't wake up. They're not going to tell you nothing, but just look at some of these people's face. And you tell me, all the dirties, all the Moors who are doing nothing for this movement, selling packages and doing all types of madness, when they go on video next time, look at their face. Tell me if they look like they have a good life to you. You see it in their face. Eyes don't lie. Now, when we're talking about metaphysical, esoteric, spirit world, and all that stuff, that's the unseen hand. You know when they say that guy did something, sometimes it might be instant. You might have a sibling or whatever like that. They try some BS with you, lick their finger, put it in their ear, and then they stub their toe on something right after. That's the spirit world working. So don't think people are gonna get away doing their BS. They're not gonna get away. Stuff might look good on the earth plane, right? In the world of illusion, in the matrix, it might look like they got away with something. But guarantee, they're going to fall down some stairs or something like that. They're going to cut their finger or something. Something's going to happen to let them get payback. The wife's going to leave them. Something's going to happen to let them get their payback. The thing is, you stay true to the cause. Don't worry about them. Let them do whatever they're going to do. But know that the spirit world doesn't sleep. When you're sleeping, spirit world is working overtime because you're sleeping. So they could do whatever they want without being seen because you're sleeping. Right? Karma. Karma is the spirit world working. You don't have to do anything. These people are going to get what they're supposed to get. You just make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. And then you not doing what you're supposed to do is why your stuff sucks. Because you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be concerned with them.
If you ever seen some of the movies where a car is driving, some of them, I forgot what movie it was, but the car is riding and it was there, then all of a sudden it disappeared and it started fading back in. It faded into whatever what was going on around it. Well, this particular plane is supposed to be like that, where it becomes invisible. It has surveillance cameras. It can travel at 50 miles per hour in speed. I'm saying this because I'm trying to show you the type of odds that we're up against. It can travel at 50 miles per hour in speed. It has microphones in it, where it can actually tune into a conversation miles away. It can bypass other conversations just to pick up your conversation to record it. Also,
FYI, for people who just came here, this is from 2005. So if you hear certain things that's happening right now, why is he talking about that? We already know that. This is from 2005. We should let you know something.
Guns. It can arrest you. The information that some of the information that I was reading about this UAV, the unarmed man vehicle, something like that, or unarmed man vehicle, some unmanned vehicle, something like that, where they had the national identity thing that was built into it. So that's what the government is hoping to have, this national identity thing come about, where you're not just, it's New World Order stuff. So it's not just that you are just a citizen of America. You know what I'm saying? You become more than just a citizen of America. You become a world citizen. So it says when the UAV, when they was doing a test, they did a test with this Air Force captain, where they had the UAV to fly around in this warehouse or whatever, and swoop down in front of this Air Force captain, extends the tray out and say, please put your identification card in. And reads the identification card, and depending on what their motive is, either they can lock you down or they can let you free to keep going on. It's like the police pulling you over. So even the police forces will get smaller. So this is the reason why they're doing this. So these are some of the odds that we're up against. Like I said before, we shouldn't fear it, but we should count totally on the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? So our fight with them, these are some of the things that we're up against. So it ain't like human error shit. You know what I'm saying? This thing can speak to you. This UAV thing they got, it's not like human error shit now. It's like precise, like perfection. It's like a calculator. Like a calculator, it's like, with our mind, you say this number times this number, and we think about it, and then it is. With a calculator, you just push it in. So this thing is, they're perfecting this thing to do so many things. You know what I'm saying? Even stun you or shoot certain waves at you to paralyze you. That's why I'm saying the fight ain't really a physical fight. You understand where I'm coming from? It's really not a physical fight that we can really fight this cracker with. We can't fight it with our guns. You can do that shit all you want. Just like in the movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That when they went to search for that particular gun, that motherfucking gun can change the thought. They say whatever, they shoot the person, and whatever your thought process is, it will bend that person's thought to your process and will respond the way you want them to respond. So that shit they show in the movies is actually shit that they have. They have technology where It will make a grown man a hard-ass nigga put down his gun and cry. And get down and surrender himself. You see what I'm saying? So, our fight and what we up against ain't really shit. If we on the level that we supposed to be spiritually. I must stress that.
The spirit realm. How does it affect us? Does it affect us? I'm sure it does, but how does it affect us, and what are some of the effects if it does?
The spirit realm affects us. It does affect us, number one. The spirit realm does affect us because you got to understand, this shit is all orchestrated through the spirit world. Even down to the signs of the government even doing shit. We are affected by it, even down to the signs that the government is doing shit. So whether it's spiritually our side, spiritually demiurge, or lower gods, you know what I'm saying? It's all spiritual. It affects us in a big way. This whole warfare is spiritual. Although we looking at it on a physical level, most of us are looking at it on a physical level, but this whole warfare is spiritual. It started off as a spiritual warfare. And it's still a spiritual warfare. You know what I'm saying? It's still a spiritual warfare. So the spirit world affects us in a big way. From the aspect of the gods on our side, those of us that are in tune, taking presence in us, because we are the gods, so we just tapping into that energy, us transmutating. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. And them, or the other side, fighting us from a spirit level. Just the white man is just here as a tool to fight the war for that side.
You saying that's what he fit in the scheme of things?
The white man fits in the scheme of things from the aspect of the white man fits in the scheme of things in the aspect of that the white man plays the role as a vicegerent on earth for those lower entities or those lower spirits. So the white man, he fits in the scheme of things in that nature. Just from the fall of us, a man, the fall of the great old ones into this dimension. You know what I'm saying? Now we have someone that we can look at, not just our own self, because even though our own people, even through history, has become our enemies on the side of the lower entities, but the white man is the open enemy, is particularly the government, in the aspect of making our lives stressful, wreaking havoc on us, tracking devices, mind control, all kind of shit. So he fits in the scheme of things as the one who is upholding this shit for the Lord spirits. So that's where he fits in the scheme of things. But he's just like we say, a puff of fucking smoke. He's just a puff of fucking smoke. He really don't fucking exist. This war is the war between the soul and the ego. That's what this war is. And he is just an extension of that ego, which is really nothing. So, in an aspect, how we look at it, like, when Kali comes, the great mother Kali, when she comes, she cuts off the heads. She neutralizes the ego. Same thing with Lord Shiva. When Lord Shiva comes, he neutralizes the ego. So the war comes through that. So, and this is how I mean, this is how we take president over that which we up against. So the white man plays a role in aspect of upholding, but we play a role in aspect of neutralizing the ego, which is him, which is the puff of smoke, which is that which don't really exist, which is Maya, which is the illusion. You understand where I'm coming from? So, you know.
Well, I've heard some say, like David Icke, they talk about this reptilian race, this race of reptilians that are basically, like you said, an extension of the demiurge, and they actually feed off of this ambient light source that we give off. Have you heard of this? And if so, what are your views?
I've heard of this shit. I've heard it so many times over the years. A reptilian race. God damn it, we are the reptilian race. You know what I'm saying? We are the reptilian race. We don't talk about a race of reptilians or alien beings. You ever seen the movie Alien versus Predator? Alien is the great mother. The alien is the great mother of the Kundalini, the Shakti power. You know what I'm saying? So that's a bunch of bullshit about reptilian. This white race being no, this white race is a puff of fucking smoke. This motherfucking cracker ain't shit. He really don't exist. So this reptilian race is really us. You know what I'm saying? And if the reptilian talking about, what did he say? What was that about the ambient light? What was that?
I've heard some say that this reptilian race creates all this chaos, all the hatred, all the wars against man, or black against white, or whatever, to create this energy, or this ambient energy, or hate energy that it can feed off of so it can survive in another dimension, maybe like a fourth dimension or something.
That's bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. In all of our ancient texts, it always talked about the serpent power, or the reptile power, the Kundalini energy, or the serpent power. So you always see the gods, the Nagas of ancient India or Asia, the Nagas. You know what I'm saying? The niggas, or the serpentine fire, the serpents of Apep of ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So we'll say pre-dynastic Egypt, Apep, the Great Mother, or whatever, or Draconia, or the dragon, which is another form of a reptile, which is the most ancient aspect. It's just a representation of chaos, or pure fucking freedom in that aspect of not being bound by these laws or things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to a break, and we'll come back in a second with some more questions.